I'd like to recommend a book called Speaking of Sex by Meg Hickling. I hope you can see this. It's very matter of fact. She's Canadian, she's a nurse, and she just talks about sex like biology. So, which is what it is, right? So if you're having a hard time because that was a taboo subject when you were a child, this is a great book. I really enjoyed it. And as my kids got older, I left it lying around the house and I said, you can look at that if you're interested. And I kind of followed her principles by just talking to the children about whatever comes up in as much detail as they're interested in. You know, they'll ask you, and sometimes you think, oh, that talk's out of the way, hooray, but they'll ask you again and again sometimes. So if you're feeling like, oh, that's going to be horrible and I'm not looking forward to that, or I don't want to do that, somebody else can do it, or whatever, one way to kind of ease your way into that is to actually start in a simple way when your baby's still a baby, by naming all the body parts correctly. Because lots of times we shy away, you know, we say, oh, nose and ears and eyes and everything gets named except for their private parts. That's when people get a little bit like, you know, or give it some nickname or something. And it sends a message to the kids. It gives them the message that that part about them is a little, there's something wrong with that. Like it's maybe a little shameful. And there's nothing to feel ashamed about. It's just a part of your body. And we shouldn't feel ashamed. It's just, in sex is actually completely normal and healthy too, right? So all of that is just normal. And so if you're having a hard time kind of getting used to naming the body parts, Meg Hickling, I love that part in the book, said, you know, yell out the body parts while you're vacuuming and just kind of get used to saying them for starters. And it's easy when they're babies because they're not judging and they're not ashamed and they're just, you know, they're babies. They don't even understand yet. So you can practice. And as you're cleaning them, name all the body parts. And then when they get older, hopefully they feel confident and feel like that's just their body and nothing wrong with any part of their body. And one of the things, like if you're not convinced, you're not feeling like you're ready to do this, but one of the things I thought was really important about it was that I've heard from Meg Hickling's book and also in taking some training about sexual abuse prevention, that predators who target children are less likely to target children who can name their body parts, because if they're comfortable and confident and can name their body parts, they can come to you and tell you exactly what happened. But kids who feel like, oh, it's shameful and that's something that we don't talk about in our family, will have a much harder time coming to you. So there's a good reason for you. And also it is about, you know, what we were talking about with boundaries, you know, and respecting their boundaries and kind of asking permission to pick them up and all of that. Also, if somebody wants to overstep their boundaries, if they have been respectfully treated and they know about their boundaries and people respect them, then they'll know if something is wrong. They'll know if somebody is trying to overstep their boundaries and they won't be okay with it. And they'll be able to tell you if you have a good connection and a respectful relationship with each other and an open relationship. So it's hard to be open sometimes for some people around these topics of sex and body parts and all of it. But it's worth practicing, especially while your kids are little, to get to a point of comfort for yourself so that you can, you know, send a good message. It's like parents have said to me, you know, they're deathly afraid of spiders, but they don't want to be like, to not pass it on to their kids. It's the same kind of thing. Like, see if you can gain some confidence and comfort around that.